Okay, so in this chapter, page 405, Experimental Design and Separation Techniques, chapter 21. This chapter is really easy because you are familiar with the techniques. You already know about filtration, distillation, like simple distillation, fractional distillation. You have an idea about these techniques a little bit. Okay, you studied some of them in grade 6, and fractional distillation for the crude oil you studied in grade 7, right? And I think crystallization also. Crystallization, you did it? Grade 6.
In grade 6, teacher.
Yeah, crystallization too. There is only one topic which is new, and chromatography. Chromatography, the name seems difficult. Chromatography is the last topic of this chapter. First of all, this topic on page 406, first topic, this topic is not included, experimental design. Okay, so you can put a small cross. Okay, 21.2, this topic is not, it's written in SOS, okay, but we will not teach it. To any grade, girls wing, boys wing, morning, afternoon, will not teach this, and inshallah questions also will not come from this chapter. No, 21.2 will study. Only I'm saying about 21.1. In this topic, we will only study about these apparatuses. Okay, now not study. That you should be knowing about these things. Okay, because these apparatuses will be used in the later techniques which we'll study. So first of all, there is a test tube. Okay, so only put a tick on this diagram on page 407. Then only this diagram is included. Okay, so there are many questions in the past papers in which there is a diagram and you have to label it. Okay, label the apparatuses. So you must know about the names of these apparatus and in which technique they are used. So test tube is really easy. Test tube is used to pour the liquids or to mix the substances in each other. Okay, in small quantity. Boiling tube is the substance which you need to boil or which you need to melt. You can put it in this boiling tube and heat it directly. Okay, you can put it directly on the top of Bunsen burner. So if you want to heat something very quickly, if you want to melt something or boil something very quickly, then you use boiling tube. Okay, for the fast heating. Okay, then there is beaker, conical flask. You know the purpose for the experimentation. Okay, to put the stuff. Measuring cylinder and graduated beaker, these two things, they are used to measure the volume of a liquid. Okay, to measure the volume of liquid, because as you can see they have markings on them. Okay, so if you want to take if you want to be very precise and very specific about the quantity of any liquid in an experiment, so you use measuring cylinder, measure the quantity and then pour it in a beaker and do the experiment. Come fast. Wait, one by one. Thirsty? Okay, pencil. Just ask her. I can take mine. That's sharp. No sharing is allowed, but still. You can sanitize it later. Sanitize your hands. Okay. Evaporating dish. The name is indicating is for the purpose of evaporation. Condenser. Again, the name is saying it. The purpose of it. It's used for condensation. Okay, condensation means the gas particles, the vapors, they're allowed to enter in it. Okay, and inside the condenser, the vapors turn into liquid. Okay, so condensation is gas turning into liquid. So the condenser is used, and it's used in the process of distillation. Okay, and we will study this technique, distillation. So condenser is used, gas is turned into liquid. Then we have beaker, this burette and pipette, volumetric pipette. These two apparatuses, they are also used to measure the volume, okay, volume of liquids, and they are specifically used in the process named as titration. Okay, the process called titration. Now, titration is it's a method to do neutralization. Do you know what's neutralization?
And then alkali and when acid and base are mixed together to form a neutral solution.
Form a neutral solution. Yeah, they cancel each other's effect. They form a neutral solution. Salt and water is formed. Okay, so neutralization is when acid and alkali is combined with each other. Okay, so doing neutralization in the laboratory, the experimental method is known as titration. Okay, and these two apparatuses, burette and pipette, they are used in titration. Okay, inshallah, when we go in the lab, I will show you some of these apparatuses. Okay, they are present in the lab. Okay, then these things, Bunsen burner, tripod stand, wire gauze, funnel is used in filtration. Okay, these things are used for heating, eye protection. This is a stand, syringe, dropper. Okay, this dropping pipette, it is used to add small amount of any substance, of any liquid. Okay, drop wise. Like for example, if you want to add universal indicator into something, in some liquid, okay, to measure whether it is acid or a base or a neutral solution, so you can use dropper for it in a small quantity, drop wise. Okay, balance and mortar and pestle also to crush substances. Okay, to crush the solid thing into small pieces. Thermometer. Okay, and this spatula, do you know what spatula? Yeah, to hold the solid substance. A spatula is actually like a small spoon. Okay, it's a tiny spoon, metallic spoon, and it is used to hold the solid substances. Okay, for example, some substances are like those which cause irritation on the skin or burning on the skin. You cannot hold them, or which whose have very strong smell, pungent smell. So those substances, those solid particles, you can pick them up from spatula and use them in the experiment. Okay, so these are some of the apparatuses you should be familiar of. Okay, then this whole 21.1 we will not do, and turn to page 410. 21.2, separation and purification. From this topic we will start. Okay, so we will do topic 21.2 and 21.3. Okay, so there are total 3 topics in this chapter. So one topic we will not do, and we'll do the rest of the 2. Okay, so let's start 21.2, and there are experimental techniques in this: separation and purification. So first is filtration. There are 5 total which are mentioned in the book. Okay, number 1, filtration. Number 2, crystallization. 3, simple distillation, fractional distillation, and 5, chromatography. Okay, these 4 are in topic 21.2, and chromatography is 21.3. Okay, it has made the separate topic because chromatography is like long. Okay, this is lengthy topic, but it's highly simple. Okay, we will inshallah, I'll try to arrange the laboratory apparatus for you so that you can do chromatography by yourself. It's really easy, very easy. Okay, so first I will give you the introduction of all these. Okay, all the 5 techniques, that why they are used, and for which thing they are used, to separate which substance from which substance. Okay, so filtration, as you all know, that filtration is used to separate the solid substance from a mixture. Okay, so I'm writing here, filtration is used if you want a solid from a solid liquid mixture. Okay, mixture means that the solid is solid is insoluble in that substance. Okay, in the solvent, sorry. So for example, mud in water, sand in water, or any insoluble salt in
Teacher,
water.
can you repeat what you just said?
Yeah, I said that filtration is the method which is used to separate the insoluble solid from solid liquid mixture. Okay, for example, sand in water, or any insoluble salt in water. So we can separate it by using filtration. Insoluble solid. Okay, now crystallization technique, in which the salt crystals are formed. Okay, first of all, it is used to prepare the salt crystals. Okay, secondly, it's a separation technique to separate the pure salt, okay, in the crystal form, pure salt, from solid liquid solution. Okay, this time we will take a solution of it, means solid is completely dissolved in water or any solvent, whatever solvent we are taking. Okay, so if we have water and we dissolve copper sulfate in it, so we have a copper sulfate blue color solution of copper sulfate. Okay, so we will do crystallization. Okay, so it has several steps. We will do those steps of crystallization that I will explain you the steps of crystallization. Okay, so when we do these steps, in the end we evaporate the water and we will get the salt crystals, pure salt crystals of copper sulfate. Okay, blue color crystals. So this is a technique which is used, first of all, it is used to prepare the crystals, pure crystals. Okay, and secondly, it is used to separate the salt from the solution. Okay, solid liquid solution. Salt is a solid structure. Okay, is a solid thing. In the solid form we will get it. Now simple distillation is, if we have a solid liquid solution like in crystallization, okay, solid liquid solution, but we want pure liquid, not solid this time. Okay, if we want pure liquid from a solid liquid solution, then we do simple distillation. Okay, there is a difference. Which thing we want? If we have a solution of solid liquid, if we want solid in it, if we are desiring solid to take out pure solid, then we do crystallization. And if we want pure liquid from it, then we do simple distillation. Okay, are you getting it? A blank. Okay, so pure liquid from, if we want pure liquid from a solid liquid solution, we will do simple distillation. Fractional distillation is to separate liquids, okay, like different liquids, we will separate them in fractions, different liquids from miscible liquids. What? Miscible means totally mixed with each other. Okay, which are like, we have 2 or 3 or more liquids which are completely mixed with each other. You cannot see the difference. Like in oil and water, you can actually see the layers. Okay, that they are separated layers of oil and water. Okay, but if there is water, alcohol, honey, lots of these liquids, but they are completely mixed with each other, you cannot see the difference. Okay, so you will separate them by using fractional distillation. Okay, they're completely mixed, miscible liquids in different fractions, and fractional distillation is carried out on the basis of boiling point. On the basis of boiling points, because we know that all the substances have different boiling points. Different liquids have different boiling points. Like if you remember about crude oil, which you studied in grade 7, in crude oil also, in fractionating column there are different levels, different fractions, and they have different temperatures. Okay, and different crude oil, they separated in fractions according to their temperatures, according to their boiling points. Okay, so in fractional distillation also, one by one the liquids will evaporate according to their boiling points, and that's how we can separate them. Okay, we'll study it in detail also. Now chromatography is used to separate again liquids, but this time from immiscible. Immiscible means which are not mixed with each other, like a mixture. Liquids from immiscible liquids. Okay, for example, if and chromatography is you know what is the meaning of word chroma? Colors. Okay, color. So chromatography is like colorful separating technique. Okay, different colors will be separated out, like and the liquids will be separated according to their different colors, different shades they will give. Okay, so for example, it's the ink, black ink. If we take black ink, it's a mixture of different colors. So red, blue, yellow, green, lots of colors are mixed to make black ink. Okay, so we have a black ink and we do chromatography. This technique will separate all the colors from each other. Okay, so in different colors we will see. the liquids which are present. So it is used to identify also that which liquids are present in this mixture. Okay. So any question in the introduction? Yes, online girls.
No.
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
Okay. So page 410, in the keywords, again, the definition, the proper definition is written. Okay. So previously I just told you about the introduction and what is the difference between them. This is the proper definition of all of them. Okay. Filtration, crystallization. In crystallization, we will form a saturated solution. Okay. So for the saturated solution, I told you that in which no more salt can be dissolved. Okay, so first we will prepare a saturated solution of a salt. Okay, and then we heat it to form crystals of the salt to get the crystals. Simple distillation and fractional distillation. See, in fractional distillation it's written that they are separated according to their boiling points. Okay, and the apparatus, which is the setup which is used, is known as fractionating column. And chromatography is different. Chromatography, a technique employed for the separation of mixtures of dissolved substances. Okay, mixtures of the substances, which was originally used to separate colored dyes. So just like the chromatography is different from the other techniques, that it is used for mostly for the colored things, for the colored liquids. Okay. Okay, now in this paragraph, it is written that for some of the things, if we have a mixture of two solids, okay, like if we have sand plus salt, okay, like so they are two powders and they are mixed with each other. How we can separate them? Okay, the mixture of two solids. So for this one, we have to select a suitable solvent in which one of it is dissolved and one of it is insoluble. Okay, so selecting a suitable solvent is very important, okay, for the separation of two solids. Okay, because previously in the previous these techniques, there is a solid liquid mixture, liquid mixture or solution. Okay, but this paragraph is about solid mixture. If we have a solid mixture, how we can separate them? Okay, there is not a separate technique for it. So what we will do, we will select it is soluble. Okay, for these two, if we have water and we dissolve this mixture in water, which one will dissolve? Salt will dissolve, and sand
Salt.
will remain insoluble. It will remain insoluble. We will filter it. Good. So first we will filter it. Okay, when we filter it, then sand will get separated out. Okay, it will remain on the filter paper. But what is that substance called which remains on the filter paper?
Residue.
Residue. Yeah, it's residue. Filtrate is the thing which passes down, the liquid, okay, which goes down. So now the sand is separated, and in the filtrate, which thing is left in the filtrate?
Salt.
Yeah, salt water. Good. Now what we will do? Next step?
Evaporated in an evaporation dish.
Separation. Yeah, crystallization also we can do. We can do crystallization, but in crystallization first we have to prepare a saturated solution in which no more salt can be dissolved. Okay, but here whatever salt we have, we will just dissolve that. So it's a simple solution. Okay, so in a simple solution we'll just do evaporation. Okay, so water will evaporate and we can separate the salt in this case. Okay, so same thing is written here. To remove water from the solution, to give salt requires crystallization. Okay, so we can perform crystallization also. It may be possible to separate two solids using a suitable solvent that will dissolve one solid and not the other. An example of this is the separation of salt and sand. The salt would dissolve into the water, giving a solution, whereas the sand is insoluble and could then be removed by filtration. Okay. Then in this one, same page, separation using different solvents. In second paragraph, okay, I'll explain you the first one also. In the second paragraph, the same concept is used, okay, to separate the two solids, mixture of the two solids, but they have given different example this time. Okay, the first example is of salt and sand. The second example is of sulfur and iron fillings. Sulfur plus, yeah, iron fillings and iron filings also. Like both pronunciations are correct. Okay, sulfur and iron fillings, they both are in the powder form. Sulfur is yellow in color and iron fillings, they are grayish in color. So we have to select a suitable solvent in which one of it is soluble.
You can also use a magnet, and then you can separate the iron filling from that.
Yeah, we can also use a magnet. So we can bring a magnet. In the previous book, there was a magnet example. Okay, in the previous edition book. So we can bring a magnet, so it will attract all the iron fillings towards it and sulfur will be left. Okay, but in this book they have this topic is given, this paragraph is given under the topic of different solvents. So we have to select a suitable solvent, okay, for it. So we can separate it like that also. So in this one, they have given the solvent toluene. Okay, there is a solvent toluene. Okay, it's a liquid and it's organic in nature. You know what's organic?
It's made up of carbon molecules.
Carbon and it's a hydrocarbon.
Hydrogen. Yes, hydrocarbon.
Yeah, it's a hydrocarbon. Good. So it's made up of carbon and hydrogen only. Toluene. Okay, carbon and hydrogen is
It's
an
an
organic
alkene.
solvent. Alkene, yes, from ene. You can see alkene. You study them in grade 7. So ene, if the ene word is here, so it means it's from alkene family. Okay, and it's aromatic also. Aromatic compound. Aroma means fragrance. Yeah, scent, fragrance. Good. There are two words which are like two types of chemicals in chemistry. So they are aromatic compounds and chromatic compounds. Okay, like chroma is from color, so the colored compounds are chromatic. They are aromatic compounds which give smell, fragrance. Okay, so toluene is one of the aromatic compounds. Okay, so we will use toluene as a solvent, and in toluene sulfur will dissolve and iron will remain insoluble. So first we will filter it, iron fillings will be separated out, and then we can evaporate the toluene to get sulfur. Okay, so same process but different example. So you have two examples of this selecting a suitable solvent now. Okay, so if this comes in any question that give any example of the separation using different solvents, okay, or different solvent, or separation using a suitable solvent, so you can give any example from these two. Now this first paragraph, this paragraph is important for objectives. Okay, in this one it's written that which type of compound is soluble in which type of solvent. Okay, so it's important for objective. See, differences in solubilities can be used as a simple method for separating mixtures of solids. Compounds with different type of structure will show different solubilities. For example, metallic structures. Metallic structures are insoluble in all solvents. Okay, like metals. They are saying metals are insoluble in all of the solvents. So directly when we try to dissolve them, they will remain insoluble. Ionic compounds such as sodium and potassium salts are often very soluble in water. So ionic compounds, during explanation of the first chapter also I told you that when we add any inorganic compound in water, like NaCl, a salt, when we add it in water, Na and Cl will dissociate, will split into its ions. Okay, it's for all the ionic compounds. They separate them into their ions, and then the water particles or water molecules, they surround them like this. Okay, so that's how they will dissolve in water, ionic compounds. So ionic compounds are like, for example, of compounds of potassium and sodium, they are soluble in water, dissociating into their ions. Dissociation is the word which is used for ionization. Okay, so do you know this word? Like, have you heard about this word before? Dissociation. Dissociation means splitting into ions. Splitting into or breaking into ions. Okay, and for splitting into ions, ionization word is also used. Okay, so dissociation and ionization is same. Simple molecular substances such as halogens are soluble in hexane and water, but others, particularly organic compounds, soluble in hexane but not in water. Okay, so organic compounds, they dissolve in organic compounds. Hexane is an organic compound, right? Hexane is in alkane family. Okay, you studied about alkane. So very good, 6. Okay, so hexane is organic compound, and organic compound dissolves in organic compounds. Okay, like substance dissolve in like substance. Similar substance will dissolve in each other. So organic compounds will dissolve in hexane, but not water. Giant covalent compounds such as diamond and silicon dioxide are insoluble. So they remain insoluble. They are not soluble in anything. They remain in the solid form. Diamond and silicon dioxide. Silicon dioxide is one form of silicon dioxide is quartz. Quartz is a substance, is a transparent, very hard substance from which the screens are made. You know, the quartz is the brand also, right, of watches or calculators. Quartz.
Yes.
So, yeah, on the clocks also. So the screens of watches or mobile screens, or they are all like they are made from one of the type of silicon dioxide. Like silicon dioxide is mixed in different substances. Okay, so one of the form of silicon dioxide is quartz. So it's like diamond, but it's a cheaper one. Okay, so it is insoluble. All the thing, and it's a giant covalent compound. So when we study about bonding, ionic compounds and covalent compounds, we will study giant covalent compounds also. Okay, we will study the structure of diamond and silicon dioxide. Time. Yeah, 3 minutes. Solution, residue, filtrate, keywords. Okay, and residue and filtrate, these two words are used in filtration. Okay, in filtration technique. And you know, the residue is a solid substance which remains on the filter paper, and filtrate is the liquid form which goes down from the funnel. Okay, which goes into the beaker. Should we start filtration? It's enough?
Just 2 minutes left, teacher.
Yeah. Filtration. Yeah. So see there, it's easy, this chapter. Then there is filtration. So inshallah in the next class we'll do it. Filtration is a small topic. Then there is crystallization. And I wrote the steps of crystallization also. You should know these steps, how it's done. Okay. Then, yeah, crystals. We have some crystals in the lab. I'll show you. Have you seen, like, no, you must have not seen. Transition metal, like different colored transition metal compounds.
We haven't. See, we hardly ever went to the lab.
Yeah, in grade 6 you have studied about transition metals, na? So previously we used to show colors. Like we take students to the lab and we show there some colored compounds in transition metal. So I'll show you this time, inshallah. In this chapter, like not next week, maybe next to next week, because next week is your test also, and off. In your calendar it's written Wednesday, Thursday, 2 days off. In calendar it's written, but it's not official. I don't know, but just wait for the official announcement. But in the school calendar it's written 2 days off, Wednesday and Thursday. So let's see. Hope so. Pray. Office, huh? Thank you. And please complete your homework, everyone, and submit on time. Office. Worksheet and exam side questions. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, teacher. Have a nice day.
Allah Hafiz.